to my garage. Nevertheless, welcome to another episode. Holy Girl Diaries, Youth Ministry, whatever you want to call it. Welcome back to Solomon's Garden at Sparkle University. We are here in the garage, right? I hope you guys are doing well. Okay. I hope you guys are doing swell. Okay. Happy fall. Happy September. Well, it's not fall yet. It's September. It's September 9th. It's September 9th and it's 1 p.m. here. So whatever time that you catch this, hopefully it's live. But whatever time you catch this, I hope you're having a beautiful day, night, afternoon, evening. I hope that you ate some good food today. I hope that you talked to God today. I hope that you prayed today. I hope that you journaled today. I hope you brushed your teeth and washed your face. And if you have not, just ask God to help you do better. Okay? Give you the will, give you the drive, give you the encouragement, all the above, right? So I don't want to prolong the time because I asked God to help me not prolong the time. But right now we're in the garage. I remember on my last live, if you have not watched it, I will link that down below. But if I just forget for some reason to link that down below, it's my last live I just did to where I found a book down here in the garage in my stuff that God had. I just randomly came across the book and God told me, hey, this is going to be your new recipe book. Start putting your recipes in here. So I was flipping through the book. And at the end of the book, there was a whole bunch of pages. At the beginning of the book, I maybe say about 20 pages in, there was a lot of witchcraft stuff that I found that I am no longer a part of, that is no longer my life. There's deliverances and purges that I have had, and witchcraft is no longer a part of my life, but I am in the stage of sharing my testimony. So God has put on my heart to come down here and check to make sure there is no more of residue, because there's some things that God is doing in my life and I have to fully close this door. The door is closed, but I have to get rid of any residue. Let's just say that, for lack of better words. So I just wanted to do it live just in case there are some emotions that I wanted to get on camera. And why not have you guys experience that with me? That's one. Secondly, why not talk this stuff out with God while I am recording and capturing this moment of freedom? So there's not a lot of my stuff going on over here. It may look like a lot, but it's not. So we're going to go through this green bag first. And then there's two boxes that I want to get down and get off in here. So I'm not really a fan with hooking this on myself. Excuse me, my lip had a little whatever. Anyways, I'm not a fan of hooking this on myself, but for to save time. Oh, there's someone on here. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you? Nevertheless, just to save time, I'm just gonna hook it on myself. But if I have something juicy to say, I'm gonna take it off and I'm gonna get with the program. Okay. That was great, God, that somebody got on here. I don't like how this droops on my clothes. So let's just button my top up all the way. And hopefully it's not hitting my neck. Good. How was your day? So I just got out of school. My day is going actually really great. I found some stuff in here that I want to get rid of. I just got out of school. My day is great. I hope that you're having a beautiful day. I hope that you're feeling really great today. I hope that you're feeling absolutely awesome today. I had an interesting weekend. I'm a little tired, but it is what it is. I hope that you had a really good day. I hope that your day is going great. But yeah, tell me how your day is going down below. Let me do this. So, I just got out of school, right? And I am taking this class called Evangelistic Apologetics, and that's how we argue our faith, so to speak, without arguing. It's the whole point of not arguing. It's the whole point of not arguing about our beliefs. And so, obviously, I brought up, oh yeah, I said I was going to go through this bag first. Oh, it's so heavy though. It's so heavy though. I don't really want to talk about that right now. I'm not even going to lie, because when I start talking about stuff, I get so distracted and it like slows up my time. Let me bring you guys a little bit closer. Apologetics, yes. I'm still figuring. I hope my breath doesn't stink. I'm still figuring out what apologetics really means. I have it in my notes, but I want to be able to talk about it without having to go look at the definition. So this is one bag. This is one. There's a book in here. There's a book in here. And I have this book about secrets. Like, I'll find it. I know. All I'm doing is just going through my stuff to make sure I don't have anything attached to witchcraft. I used to be a witch, allegedly, right? Because how do you know you're a witch if you're the only one calling yourself that, right? I used to be a witch, and I found a book in here about a week ago. If you watched my last live, I found a book in here that had. Okay, so this is not it. But I had a book in here that was talking about like divination spreads and stuff. And I had this really nasty cough. And when I was involved in witchcraft, I swallowed some blood. And so, long story short, those ties are being broken. So I'm just making sure I don't have any more witch stuff in my stuff. So about 2 years ago, it's 2024, about this will be year, I don't know what year this would be, 2 years or 3 years. My mom and dad decided to put their hands on me. And so that ended up happening. And then I started staying here because I was just a little, I was just a little, I don't want to say I was crazy or anything, but I was losing myself. Oh no. I was losing my, I was losing myself. I was like, I don't know who I am. I don't know who these people think they are to where they can't communicate. The only way they can communicate is if they hit me. I'm not a punching bag. For lack of better words. I'm not a punching bag, so why are you hitting me? That's how I felt. And so I ended up coming here. Luckily, I had a friend. Who cared about me. Who cared about me enough to not see me get abused. That's not good. No, it's not. And I was still coming, I'm 27 now. I was still coming into my adulthood. So about that time, I was like 24, 25. About there, roughly. And I was still coming out of being abused, not by my parents, but by a guy. And so I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk and work at the same time. The living energy universe, a fundamental discovery that transforms science and medicine. See, I don't know if this is a good book or a bad book. Well, it talks about energy and theology. I don't know if this is a good book or a bad book. I love books. I love books. But I guess all books are not good. What is this one? This talks about unconditional wisdom and guidance. This is also the will of consistency, fasting. What? Oh, yeah, this is not it. See? This is not it. This is not it. And the book is so beautiful. I think that's what got me. I used to work at this place called Thrift Books, which was this factory that also had a library in it. And you pretty much, oh, Jesus. You pretty much, oh, here's another, well, y'all, let's just get rid of it. What was I talking about? Oh, I'm also Cherokee. I'm not just Cherokee, but I have Cherokee in my blood. Just get rid of the witchcraft books. Yeah, let's just get rid of all of it. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. But it's like in some of them, I don't know what's what and what's not. But for these, for sure, I know they are. But long story short, Joel, I was involved in some serious stuff. Remember I said I swallowed blood, right? And so I had this cough. Here it is. This is what I was talking about. I had this cough I'm into plants and I'm into science. I like making medicines and stuff. Nevertheless. Okay, I thought you were saying something. But oh yeah, look. My mom and dad, they were like, hey, take that down. Take that off our wall. I had some art that was not like a witchcraft vibe, and my mom and dad took it off my wall and put it outside in garbage bags because I used to sell art. And I brought it back in the house. Like I was coming from like this car club event, right? With this guy I used to be engaged to, right? That's another story for a different day. And I come and I'm coming into the house and I see that there's a trash bag sitting outside. And I'm like, what is that? Why is there a trash bag? Like, what is that? And so I go to my room and I see there's a big empty space on my wall. And I'm like, what in tarnation? I go outside. My mom and dad's door is open. Now, mind you, I said they used to hit me, right? I go outside and I go get my painting. I guess I'm assuming, right? And my dad's like, he's like yelling. He's like, if that's that painting, take that back outside. And I'm like, well, how could you just throw this away? Like, what about this is demonic? And he's like, that doesn't matter. This is my house. She has an eye on top of her head and she's naked and this and that and this and that. And I'm just like, okay. You switch from all of these different religions, but you want me to believe what you believe. And you're the one who taught me that I should know God for myself. But you're telling me to believe what you believe. And it sounds like you're preaching a bunch of hate. It sounds like you're preaching a bunch of cult activity. It sounds like you're teaching separation. It sounds like you're teaching me to follow under when I'm supposed to build a relationship with God because that's what you taught me from the jump. You taught me from the jump, build a relationship with God. You taught me from the jump. And now it doesn't sound like you're building a relationship. You're teaching me to build a relationship. It sounds like you're just trying to tell me what to do. And that's just not how it works. At first, I didn't see a problem with this, but if you can see the constellations and the what is it? What would they call that? Zodiac signs. And even though it's so pretty, because I bought it for this purpose, I believe that's what I bought it for. And then when it got delivered to me, I saw that it had like the whole zodiac thing in it. But I bought it for solely because I love science and I love plants and I love the moon. But there was a lot going on with that too. I was worshiping the moon too. Let's whatever, right? What else is in here? What else is in here that doesn't need to be in here? Because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss anything. What else is in here? I need a stretch. I need a stretch. That's it. Nothing else is in here. So I can put all these books back. Well, let's check what this one says because I was writing a whole lot of stuff in journals. What is the number one death in the United States? Animals, dreams, Reiki. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look. This just breaks my heart. Like, this was in 2017. What even does this stuff say, y'all? There's some French going on here. What even does it say? This just really breaks my heart, man. This really breaks my heart. I once saw a bee drown in honey, and that's when I realized that the things we love most can sometimes also be the most harmful to us. I was writing my F's backwards. Like, what? Don't apologize for feeling something or a lot. What? What? Ugh. At least I had pretty handwriting. Does that even matter? Does that even matter that oh my God, this book. Just throw it away. It's so crazy how we get emotionally attached to stuff. We get emotionally attached to stuff like seeing colors. My favorite color is pink, so that would be the only reason I would have bought this book. Another one of my favorite colors is red and white and black, so that'll be another reason why I buy the book but never really read it. It's just like, what? Why? What is the purpose? So that's that. That's that. There's another box in here. Ugh. There's another box in here that has, oh no, I didn't put that back. There's another box. Feel free to ask me questions. Feel free. Remember, I'm just getting an authentic expression. That's what's really going on right now. And I just want to say whatever God tells me to say. But at this point, we're just getting rid of all the witchcraft books. At this point. Yeah. It's really scary, to be completely honest. It's really scary. Because here, let's shift the camera so you guys can see right here. And I still hope that you guys can hear me. I really hope that you guys can hear me and I'm not banging the microphone. Nevertheless, I hope I'm talking loud enough. Nevertheless, again, there's one more box because not all of this stuff is mine. I don't know who all this stuff belongs to, but not all this stuff is mine. Oh, snap. Let's put this back in there. What even kind of bag is this? How cute. I forgot I had this. This was a bag my mom gave me a long, long time ago. And I don't even know what to use this for. I've had this bag for a good, I was, say, 13 and I'm 27. What is that, 14 years? Is that can y'all do the math? I just came out of class and I can't do the math. That's funny. I've been having it for a long time. Nevertheless, how long I've had it. Just a long time. But as I was saying, I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. I'm happy fall is coming because I live in Texas. I don't know where y'all live, but I live in Texas. And honey, them trying to kill us out here is so hot. Like every other day is like a dead animal in the road. And sometimes it's like, oh, that got ran over. No, it's still whole. How long were you studying witchcraft for and what made you stop? Ooh, that's a lovely question, right? So I got introduced to witchcraft. I was a senior in high school. I think it came even before that, but I wasn't really intrigued in that because I was playing sports. I'm like, it's too busy to try to talk about all of this stuff. You know, my dad's a Christian, so why do I even need to, So 12th grade year, I was in a Halloween show, right? And there was this guy that I was dating at the time, and he celebrated the Sabbath. So he was Hebrew, right? Because all of these terms, right? Nevertheless, he celebrated Sabbath. And I ended up talking to this guy. I was like, oh, school guys are boring. And in my family growing up, dating an older guy was always a thing. Even if you're like 13 years old, dating a guy who was in his 20s was like a thing, right? Gross. I know. We'll talk about that on a different day. But I was like, I want a boyfriend outside of school. I want a friend outside of school because I want money. I want to do this. I want to do that, right? Because I was a cheerleader and I was in cross country and I was participating in all kinds of stuff. And my mom and dad were so strict. I couldn't go to parties. I couldn't do everything everybody else was doing. So I found a way to sneak. And by this time I was already smoking weed in high school, right? And drinking. I started drinking and smoking weed my sophomore year. We'll talk about that on a different day. I was preparing to do that, but I felt like, being that my family is very prideful or egotistical or both, even if that's the same thing or different, I felt like I had a lot to prove. And growing up, I'm not getting off the subject, but I just want to kind of give you a little bit meat of the matter. I was raised as a boy, and let me tell you what I mean by that. I have an older sister. We're the only sibling. We're the only two children that my mom and dad had. My mom and dad are still married. We participated in all kinds of sports growing up, and we couldn't cry. If we fell down, our dad didn't hug us. And my mom would tell us all the time, I didn't want girls anyway. I wanted boys. So they just kept implanting in us, like, we would get beat, like they would punch us, they would do all this stuff. So we just like became like super mega tough, right? It's all in about how we grow up. And I started telling myself, I don't want to live like a little, I don't want to live like a boy. I want to be able to have emotions. Like if we hug our dad, don't hug me. You'll be all right. Like, oh, the sense of rejection that I didn't even know was abandonment. Like, oh, and then my mom trying her best, but also she was raped and molested by her family members and growing up. And my mom was involved in witchcraft, right? And my mom, this is just a little bit of background because I think it's important to share. My mom ran away from home at 9 years old. She got involved with this man. She came back home. She ran away again when she was 12, got involved with the same man, I believe, because they all went to the same school. And he was Jamaican. And his mom, he was abusive to my mom. My mom used to have to sleep with like scissors. She would sleep with like pencils. And anytime he would come home and attack her, because he was a drunk, anytime he would come home and attack her, she would like stab him with pencils. And she felt like none of that was working. So she asked his mom, hey, because his mom was a witch. My mom didn't know anything about it until she got involved with his mom. And she said, hey, I noticed yada, 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 right? I don't know the conversation between that, but just a base of what my mom told me. She said, well, if you can teach me these things, then I think I will survive in life. And so she said that his mom said, as long as you don't use it against my son, which I guess that was my mom's whole, she was like, I want to hurt him, but I don't want to kill him. That's what she told us, right? So fast forward into the future, it's like it's like mother, then child, then granddaughter, because I have a daughter, right, who's 7 years old, about to be 8 this month. And fast forward into my senior year, I think it's just history repeating itself. That's why I mentioned my mom. Nevertheless, senior year, I started talking to this guy who I thought was just more advanced because he had a car and he smoked weed. And I'm like, oh, a car. So if I want to skip school, I can call him. If I want to smoke weed, I can call him, because I was one of those girls. I never had to pay for anything. I was just a really cool person to be around. I considered myself one of the guys because I hung around a bunch of guys. I could never hang around girls because they made me feel uncomfortable. They were, at that time, they were sissies. I'm like, I can't hang around a girl who talks about drama. I can't hang around females who fight all the time because I got bullied a lot. So it pushed me away from girls, and I started hanging out with boys. I started playing football. I started running track with the boys. Like I was just in this feminine state of mind, kind of. I just want to put that just a little bit. It was like, oh, if I can get what I want if I'm around a bunch of guys, right? So I wasn't like a whore or anything. I never was one of those girls. My parents didn't raise us to be like that. But I just hung around guys because I just knew I could get what I wanted, right? And so he started teaching me. He was in college. And so he started telling me all about like these crystals, and he was telling me about do you believe in God? Like he would just start randomly having these conversations. And I'm an intellectual, so if you get me to think, I'm gonna think, right? And so it's like that's how I find my friends. If we can think and we can have like all of these crazy conversations, regardless if it's why bees are so small or why the sun is so bright or why is the sky blue, like I'm intrigued by stuff like that, right? And I'm sorry if I'm talking you guys ear off, but you asked the question, so I had to go there. And so he was like, why do you believe in God? You believe that there's a big old mother effer in the sky who just sits there and tells you what to do and like all this stuff, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, because that's what I was taught. He was like, what if I tell you your whole life was a lie? What if I tell you your whole life was a lie? And I'm like, well, how? How? So I was just like, when I say manipulation was hitting, because I was getting free weed and I was getting free weed, right? And it was a way to not be at home confused. So that just kind of like opened the door. So I want to say from 2016 all the way up until 2021. So what is that, about 4 years? Not you're good. No, you're good. You got my attention. Oh, perfect. So that was 2017 all the way up to 2021, because in 2021 I got struck by lightning. And some people don't believe it. That's not up to me to get them to believe that I got struck by lightning. But let me answer your question. How long were you in? How long were you? 4 years. I didn't fully get into it until 2018. I didn't 2016, I became aware of it, but I wasn't really sure because I ended up doing acid with the same dude. I ended up doing acid with the same dude because he ended up getting these crystals. It's like, when you're a senior, you get out of school early. And so he would take me to the shop and he's like, I want to buy you some crystals. But before that happened, right? He ended up going to his house, and of course we smoked some pot, right? And so I'm like, he's like, I want to do this thing with you that someone taught me, because he started going to Colorado for like Ramadan and all this stuff, right? I should have brought some water in here. Nevertheless, so he tells me to lay down after we smoke some weed, because he's like, hey, when you're high, then you can feel things a lot better, right? And so I'm laying down, and he's like, he puts his crystal on my head. He puts a crystal on both of my hands. He puts like a line of crystals right here on my stomach. And he's like, I was like, bro, I don't feel nothing. He was like, well, maybe just smoke some more weed. And I'm just like, okay, why not be more high, right? Ugh. So I'm just like laying there, and he's like, what do you feel? Maybe you'll start feeling things about your dad. And it's like he's telling me I should feel these things. And I'm like, bro, I don't feel nothing. And he's getting mad at me because I'm telling him like, bro, I don't feel anything, right? And so he was like, okay, well, after school, yada yada yada, next week, whenever I get paid again, I'll buy you some crystals, and maybe you can just practice with yourself. And then I started getting intrigued. So I'm like, okay, well, get me some books. Like, can you buy me some books, right? So I go to the library, and I go downtown, and one of my favorite libraries, and I just started getting books about whatever it is that he was telling me about, because I'm one of those people, I'm very smart enough. I'm not just going to believe what you're telling me. But at this time, I'm like, you're giving me free weed. Let me pay some interest so that I can keep you interested, so that you can keep giving me weed, right? Because I never had to pay for it. And so, nevertheless, it started with crystals. It transitioned into crystals, because when I would be in theater class, there was always this debate. I started meeting more people who didn't really believe in God. They were talking about different goddesses. And I'm like, oh, I got raped. I can be a goddess. And she was like, yeah, you can use your vagina to do such and such and such. And I'm like, maybe I can get more weed from the same guy if I use, you know. And so, and I wanted him to see, oh, this girl, she's smart than I expected. I was always trying to outsmart somebody, because my dad instilled in me and my daughter to be competitive, regardless if it was academic, regardless if it was sports or anything. You are always the best, regardless of what you're participating in. You don't need to be stupid. Like when I tell you, my dad used to beat us for getting a 79 on a progress report or a report card. My dad would beat us for 79. So I'm going to try my best not to fail anything or fail anyone in life because of that pressure as a young child, right? So to fast forward just a little bit, my nose started running. It's some tissue in here. Hold on one second. To fast forward, what was the question again? What made me stop? Right. Let me get some tissue, because my nose, sorry if this is a lot of noise. I'm sorry. Okay. So what made me stop, right? And pardon me, I don't care if anyone sees me digging my nose. We're all humans. And yeah. Sorry. Not sorry. Nevertheless. Okay, so what made me stop? I got struck by lightning. So I never got into like possessions and stuff, and I'll talk about that on a different day. But I was one of those girls who played with fire. I played with blood, not anyone else's blood, my own, of course, which is gross, but that's a story on a different day. And I was masturbating a lot, right? Because there was this time to where I went through like this lesbian phase. I wasn't full out like lesbian, because I knew that I didn't really want to marry a woman because of my growing up beliefs, right? And but I was bored with life. I was like, oh, well, boys are getting boring and I can't really trust them, so let's go over here to girls, right? And so I had this time with this girl, story for a different day, and she was into numbers and numerology. And I'm like, oh, so witchcraft is bigger than what I expect. Oh, let's dive down this Alice in the Wonderland hole, right? And I ended up bringing a spirit into our house, and it ended up like raping my mom, because my mom was just like, she ended up coming into my room one day. This was after I came back from Atlanta, and she ended up coming into my room, and she's like, because my name is Brittany, right? And she's like, Brittany, wake up. And she's like, don't panic, but wake up. I could tell my mom was in a frenzy. I'm like, is there somebody in this house trying to kill us? Because it's 2:00 in the morning. And she's like, she said, just stay calm. Come into my room. Follow me into my room. I could tell my mom was scared. So I follow her into her room, and she has the sink on, and she has my dad on the phone, and she's like telling us while blood is literally running down her leg. I'm like, are you in your period? What's going on? She said a spirit raped me. And I'm like, I'm not so deep into witchcraft that I understand what that means, right? So nevertheless, I'll tell that story on a different day. But that kind of like woke my attention. I was like, oh, we could talk to spirits. Oh, we could communicate with spirits. This is so crazy and gross at the same time. And fast forward, I ended up doing a sex reading. This was a voodoo. I had no business. I'm just telling you guys this because the more and more I got infatuated with witchcraft, it was more so tarot cards. It was more so tarot cards, anything that involved fire, anything that involved crystals. I still really didn't catch the crystal aspect. I just liked it because they were pretty. I was like, oh, we can have these rocks and we can talk to these rocks and we can get energy and frequency from these rocks and we can just all this crazy stuff that, whatever you're taught, or you self-diagnose yourself of understanding by just YouTubing everything and ordering books and going from other people's experience. And I ended up doing this sex reading with voodoo cards, and clear as day, it said in the book. Now, I was one of those people, I know how to do a tarot card reading. I don't need to read the book, right? And so that was the dumbest thing I could have ever done, right? And so voodoo, I had a deck, I had a hoodoo deck, and I had a voodoo deck, and I had another deck that was kind of Indian. I had one that was concerning the stars. You could talk to all these celestial beings. Like I was doing a fool. I had one with like dolphins and turtles and fishes, like mermaids. I was doing the full absolute, right? Anything that can make me more powerful, I was doing it. And so I ended up doing this sex reading with this guy who I knew wanted me so bad. He wanted me so bad. And there was this time where I was doing the reading with him and I felt the card talking to me. I heard it in my ears. There's something moved in my closet. Like, you know how you walk. Let's get personal real quick. You know how you're walking and you're walking past a bush of some sort and you hear something skedaddle, or you see from your peripheral vision something skedaddled in the bush, or you could just hear it. That's what happened in my closet. And my closet it was long, but it was small. It was doors that you open like this, and it was long, but I could fit in there because I used to smoke weed in my closet, right? Sorry for a different day. Nevertheless. That ended up happening, and I ended up throwing the card because it said peekaboo bitch. That's what the card said. Because the question I asked the gentleman, I said, I know that your expression is through sex. The only way you can really express yourself is through sex. And he said yes. And the card was a woman who had this deformed face, and she had these beads. She was in this beaded closet, and the card said peekaboo bitch. I heard it in my ears, and I threw the card, and I could tell he was on the phone. He was really scared because he ended up like sitting up, and I'm like, okay, you're scaring me. And I just kept telling him, I was like, why do you want me so bad? Why do you want to have sex with me so bad? And he was just like, because you sound smart, you sound intelligent, all this. And I could just tell he was lonely. I could just tell, like, I'm older than you. You want to have a kid with me. You don't even know what it means to be a kid. Your dad died. You just saw your cousin get ran over. The way he described his cousin getting ran over was someone squishing a watermelon. Nevertheless, back to the story. So I want to say, never. It's a refrigerator right here, just in case, and it's a deep freezer right there too, just in case you're like, "What is that loud, annoying noise?" It's annoying to me too. Nevertheless, let's ignore it, right? So, what was I about to say? Oh, so I want to say about a month later, right? Because I was messing with this married man. Let's not talk about it. That's a story for a different day. I was just infatuated with so much stuff. I was infatuated with lust, masturbation, playing with blood, a lot, a lot, a lot. And so this woman, she gets on, like, this woman I'm naturally watching. She's like saying, hey, she would do readings to where she would separate the, what do you call that? What do you call that? Horoscope sign. So if you were like a Scorpio, a Pisces, whatever water sign, right? I fell into that category. Nevertheless, what it is. I fell into that category. And she said, you done got yourself in some real deep sugar honey iced tea. And I'm like, is she talking to me? is that for me? Because when you're in witchcraft, you start picking up stuff that don't even belong to you, right? And I don't even think it's just witchcraft, it's just in life general. When you hear something and you relate to it, that's how the enemy gets you, right? And so she's like, you got yourself into some deep sugar honey iced tea and you need to get yourself out. And I'm like thinking to myself, oh, that could possibly be me. She said, you done got involved with some sugar honey iced tea that you didn't even get taught. You started teaching yourself. You're involved with this man. I'm like, oh snap, she's talking about me. And she was like, you done drowned yourself in drugs, and you just, when you're when you're drunk or when you're so high, you just feel like you got it going on. I'm like, wow, she's talking about me, because when I would smoke weed, I could just do things with myself or with a partner that would blow my mind. I'm like, am I a nymphomaniac or something? Which I really wasn't, but I just wanted this sense of control. And the only way I was used to having control was if I used my body. Case in point, I shared the story earlier, right? And I started feeling some type of way. And so I was involved with this guy who's a Christian, who is now like my best friend, like the whole wide world. Nevertheless, that he was a Christian, he was against everything. He was against everything that I partaken in. Not only that, okay, we're not going to go there. That's a different day. So he was bringing some awareness, like, hey, God doesn't want you doing this. God this, God this. But I wasn't fully being honest with him, because I was like, I don't want to lose him out of me being stupid. I want to get rid of this stuff. But what God exposed to me was that he was a dreamer. And so is my dad. My dad was coming to me and he was telling me, he was like, God is telling me, even though you say you're not doing yada, 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 God exposed to me that you're still doing it because he's putting it in my dreams. He was like, what is in this room? Because my dad would come in there. Because me and my dad used to talk like, I'm a daddy's girl, right? That's a story for a different day. But I'm a daddy's girl. And me and my dad used to talk all the time, especially when I was pregnant. And when he started becoming a Hebrew Israelite, I started to draw back from my dad. He was getting deeper into the Hebrew Israelite life, and I started getting deeper into witchcraft. So we were already at odds in the first place, because I'm not going to convert to something when I have no understanding why I should convert to it. Witchcraft happened over time. That's a different story. But my dad converted from Christianity to Hebrew Israelite. You're teaching me to hate. I don't want to hate. Witchcraft isn't teaching me to hate. Witchcraft is teaching me to have more control. So what am I going to go more to, right? And at this point, I still wasn't understanding how God was real, because when I first learned witchcraft, the dude that introduced me to it was like, God wasn't real, right? But I still had some sense of knowledge, because my best friend was like, got this, got that, got this, got that. And I ended up going to his church. That was my first time experiencing church hurt. I was like, I ain't no way. And I'm going to say, ain't no way in hell I'm going back to this church. Ain't no way. You're making me feel like a whore. You're making me feel like a slut, which my dad used to call me, right? And I remember my dad was calling me a whore and a slut when I didn't even know what that was. My dad was saying, oh, you're out there doing this. You're out here doing this. And I'm like, Dad, I'm still a virgin. But I couldn't express that to him, because if I would have expressed it, that's a sense of talking back, and I would get slapped in the mouth or punched in the face, right? And there's this permanent mark right here. I don't know if you can see it. Other people say, oh, you smoke weed, so you're lit. I don't smoke weed anymore. But I'm saying at the time, I know you smoke weed because you got that dark spot on your lip. And it's like, no, that actually came from my dad punching me in the mouth. And my lip was like split open. And that was years ago, but it's still there. Nevertheless, where was I going with that? I don't remember. Fast forward, right? So 2 weeks later, after doing that reading, or like a month and a half later, after doing that sex reading, it started pouring randomly. And I had a rabbit who died. She died because there was a spirit, right? Nevertheless, that's a story for another day. I had a rabbit. She ended up dying, right? And so I could feel this there. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible. There was so many spirits in my room. I don't know where to start. So one day it's like 2:00 in the morning and I'm tossing and turning. I'm like, get up and wash the dishes, because you know if your dad comes home and these dishes are not done, it's gonna be hell on earth, right? So I get up. It's 3:00 when I said, I'm gonna get up 5 minutes. I'm gonna get up in 5 minutes. I'm gonna get up in 5 minutes. It's 3:00 at this time. I'm like, girl, just go wash the darn dishes. Just get up and do it. It's 3:00. Nowhere. There's no rain in the forecast. There's no rain in the forecast. And we live in Texas. Nevertheless, there's no rain in the forecast. This happened in like May or April in 2021. So there probably was rain in the forecast. But I remember when I looked, there was no rain in the forecast, because I'm trying to get out and be outside, right? So it just pours down raining, starts thundering completely hard. I'm already scared at this point. I'm over here like watching YouTube videos because I had a fear of the dark at this time in life, right? And so I'm over here like watching YouTube videos. I'm like, if you just turn on this YouTube video, you'll be able to wash the dishes in no time. You'll be done before your dad even gets home because he gets off of work at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Because my dad was like working for Procter and Gamble, right? Right. P&G, right? Nevertheless. So if you don't know who Procter and Gamble is, just Google it, right? Right. So I'm washing the dishes. Me and my mom and my daughter, we're the only ones who are home, right? My mom, she's about to get up in about 2 hours to prepare for work, right? It's thundering, it's pouring, right? Everybody's snoring. Mr. Mayor, hold on, because that was actually funny. Nevertheless. So um it starts raining, it's thundering, it's pouring. I hear boom. I'm like, oh, snap, right? And at this point, I'm feeling like something's behind me. So I'm really half cleaning dishes, just trying to hurry up and get the dishes clean. And so out of nowhere, there's this really loud thunder strike. It was so loud, right? And this is the point where I didn't realize I got struck by lightning, but it happened, right? The sound hit my ear, my head, my heart, the spoon, the ground, and my mom's window all at the same time, right? And so I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I couldn't even think. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I just heard this loud gat. Like it was so loud. I felt like my ears ruptured. Like my ears were ringing. This ear was ringing. This ear felt like someone stabbed me. My brain felt like someone just literally just like did this. Like, like real hard. My heart felt like someone shot me. And so I'm just like I'm going into this extreme panic. And I'm like hyperventilating. Excuse me. I'm sliding down to the ground as if I'm a horror movie, like I got stabbed or something. I'm sliding on the sink because I was watching this. I had a silver spoon in my hand, like the one you stir Kool-Aid with. And if you don't drink Kool-Aid, a silver spoon that you stir like a big pot of chili with, right? And I'm sliding and I'm still holding this spoon. Like I felt like I couldn't open my hand. And I'm just sliding down. And as I'm sliding down, I'm turning around and I'm putting my back on the sink and I'm sliding down to the ground. And I'm like, help, somebody help. Like I felt like I was about to die. Like I was croaking like this, holding the spoon. And I'm sliding down on the ground. And my mom comes, she cracks the door. And it brought me back to a memory a long time ago when I was a child. The same thing kind of happened, but not really. It was a different situation. But my mom heard like this loud noise or like this kaboom. And she cracks the door and she has this shotgun like pointed at me and my sister because me and my sister got into a fight. Nevertheless, my sister was my first bully, right? I was getting bullied at home before I got bullied at school. And my mom has the shotgun pointed at us, right? Because all my mom hears, like my mom thought someone was in the house because she had such a tragic life, right? Nevertheless, that reminded me of that while I was having this felt like a heart attack and like whatever all at the same time. I don't know what a heart attack feels like, but I can only imagine, right? So she cracks the door and I'm like, oh, please help me. And she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I think I got struck by lightning. And she was like, yeah, you probably did because it hit my window. Like I asked my mom, I was like, did it shatter? I asked her the next day. I was like, did it shatter? Did your window shatter? And she said no. And I think the reason why it hit my mom's window, because let's just throw this little piece, it's important in there, right? My mom dropped my dad off at work. My dad worked at night. My mom dropped him off at work. And I'm trying to understand this whole like tarot card thing because my mom participated in witchcraft, but I'm not all sure what she partaking in. And so I have the card spread and she's walking into the house. My idiotic self, I'm not going to call myself dumb, but another word, my idiotic self has this whole entire spread it out on the floor as she's walking to the house. And I'm like, oh, snap. So I'm like getting it one at a time, trying not to panic. And I'm getting it. And so she comes in. And so I just sit there and she sits on the seat behind me because my mom sometimes would fall asleep on the couch for whatever reason. And she sits down and she turns on the TV and I'm getting everything and I'm still moving slowly because I'm just trying to see if she's going to hit me. She's going to yell. Like I'm just moving everything really slow. And I'm just like, oh my God, right? And she says like 5 or 10 minutes later, I know that's not what I think it is. And I was like, And then she says it again. I know that's not what I think it is. Yes, ma'am. And she said, you can do that at any other place, can't do it in this house. I'm thinking because you're married to this man who will blow my socks off with that same shotgun, because they still have it nevertheless. I'm thinking she's gonna stop me, tell me to throw it in the garbage. She didn't do any of that. She said, you can do that anywhere else, but you're not gonna do that in my house. I'm like, oh, so it's okay to practice witchcraft because my mom is not stopping me. And I don't think anyone ever told her, hey, stop, this is not good. My mom told me, she said, how I just made one promise to God, and I said, God, if you get me out of this relationship, or if you get me out of this situation, I will never pray to you again because you already saved my life. My mom stopped having a prayer life after that. So I'm sure no one told her anything about this being bad. Not only that, I also had family who's from Louisiana. And someone ended up telling me, after I had got purged and delivered in one case, someone ended up telling me that there was a spirit over me. It was a black spirit, which someone who was alive in my family, there was someone who was alive, and while they were alive, they made a deal with the devil. And it could be a potential that the deal they made with the devil was that because he sacrificed something, and he made a deal with the devil that any children or grandchildren that I would have after this, or nieces, grandnieces, and nephews, they will not be able to produce success in life because I made this deal with the devil. Luckily, there's a God, and God overrules those things. And luckily, I am prosperous because God said so, right? But that's just like why I stopped, and that's how I got in it. I got in it senior year in high school. It developed over the course to 2021. I got electrocuted, or I don't want to say electrocuted, but I got struck by lightning, so to speak. It didn't directly hit me, but the transference still happened. So I got struck by lightning. And that God ended up telling me I needed to remind you. He told me 3 years later, because it's 2024 now. And it's so crazy how God operates. He didn't tell me why he did that. I just know that I did it. I just know that he did it. But 3 years later, he told me, well, we had a revival this past December. And if you guys don't know what that means, I don't really know how to explain what that means, but we had this end of year revival. So instead of like going out to party with the rest of the world, you just like go to church and like bring the new year in like that. That's my first time ever doing something like that. I feel like my lips are crusty and dusty, nevertheless. So this woman, she ends up telling me, she was a prophetess, and she ended up telling me, she was like, you need to close that door so that, and you never need to open it again. And I heard God tell me, you need to divorce the devil. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the freak? I need to divorce the devil. I'm thinking like purging and deliverance. Dang, still got some nice lips though. Were you scared of the dark because of the spirits? What is your nationality? By the way, that's a great story. God is good. God is good. I appreciate that. Let me answer your question. Were you scared of the dark because of the spirits? I was already scared of the dark growing up. My biggest fear was the dark. I thought my biggest fear was death, but once I almost died a few times out of stupid situations and at the cause of somebody else's hands, I wasn't scared of death anymore. Like getting the deeper I got into witchcraft, I wasn't scared of death. I was like, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Luckily, I'm not dead, right? And then trying to commit suicide, even in the process of being in witchcraft. No, 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 no. I don't want to say that. I want to say when my daughter was first born, I tried to kill myself because I was, nevertheless. But I wasn't scared of death. I was scared of the dark growing up. And then it became because of the spirits. I'm like, wow, I can't sleep. I need to always have my phone light on. I need to always have my computer on, watching a video. I need to always have my TV on. I need that to always be something. And then I stopped being scared of those things because in witchcraft, it teaches you that you shouldn't fear anything because you're in control of everything. So if you're scared on the inside, then everything around you is going to make you scared. So I started to decay in that. And then once things started happening to my daughter, and then when my bunny died, I started getting scared because growing up, I didn't know I had a gift. I didn't know that I had a gift growing up. I could feel that there was a presence. I could feel spirits, but my sister could see them. I'll never forget this one time. My sister said, "There's a spirit sitting on top of the door." I said, "What?" Like I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question, but from the beginning, no, and then it became that yes, and then after time, it just kind of stopped. What is your nationality? So I'm mixed with a few things. I am mixed with Cherokee Indian. I'm mixed with white and black. There's some Creole in there. There's also some French because my last name is Broussard. Um, when I was on acid, I ended up spiritually meeting a grandma that I had that was Cuban. So there's a lot. There's a lot. I wouldn't say I'm mixed, but for lack of better words, I'm mixed. And it says, by the way, that's a great story. God is good. Yes, yes, yes. God is really good. I should have been dead, y'all. My daughter should have been dead. There were some things happened to her because I was including her in the tarot readings. I was like, "What do you see?" She's like, "Oh, mommy." I was like, I had no idea that was bad because obviously in that time, none of what I was doing was bad. But once I came into that agreement, it's like, hey, you just got struck by lightning, and God said you had to divorce Satan, and God just told me this year, He said, I needed you to divorce Satan because I had to remind you that you still belong to me. And now that you are still alive, you need to share your testimony. So that's how this channel became a channel because still in this year, I was still a little confused. I was like, people still telling me I need to believe in God because they're Christian, but I still need to understand why that I need to believe in God. I, Case in point, these books, where did they go? Y'all, what did I just do with those books? What did I just do with those books? Y'all, what? 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 What did I just do with the books? Listen, y'all, what did I just do with those books? Oh, here they are. Case in point, in one of these books, I don't know. I don't know. I have to find the book that I'm really, really looking for. But in one of these books, it tells you that in the box. No, it better not go back in that box. It's over there. But there's this book. I was getting involved with the angels, right? Let's go there for a second. I was getting involved with the angels, and one of the books I ended up buying off of Amazon was the 12 Archangels. And in this book, it talks about the Holy Spirit being a woman. It talks about how God had this wife and he had to prove this and that, but he went through his womanly woman, whatever she is, right, first. And so I started to believe that narrative. I'm like, I'm not going to call myself a Christian because I don't really understand that. And I still was experiencing church hurt. So I didn't want to believe anything they told me was true. I still wanted to figure it out for myself. But then I had to stop doing this YouTube channel because God was like, hey, you're misleading my people and I need you to really understand what this really means. And case in point, why I'm here again because in another live I did, I had to apologize because of misleading God's people. And so now my next step is to get all of this stuff out of here. And so it's just like a lot of journals that I had that I didn't know I still had once I got kicked out. And then it's some books. So I know that there's a box over here, but I'm not sure why it's hiding. And I don't know who all's stuff this is, but I just want to make it look like I never touched anything out here. I don't want to make a mess. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do anything that causes me to regret, that causes me to feel scared, that causes me to I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I just want to get rid of everything. And I just really want to help. I really want to help. Oh God. I really want to help um oh, that's a big spider. I am so sorry that I'm so loud. There was a quote that you quote in your journal that was a really deep. Let me slow down. There was a quote that you wrote in your journal that was pretty deep about the bee. Oh, drowning in the honey? Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. Oh, snap. Who do I think I am? No, I'm just joking. I appreciate that though. That's nice. That's really nice. What is all of this stuff? See, I know there's some stuff in here. I know there's some stuff in here because who did I think I was actually? I know there's some stuff in here. I was trying to have this because I'm a dancer, right? I was trying to like have all these dance classes for like sensuality, how to keep your man, like all of this dumb stuff, y'all. All of this really dumb stuff. Like this one talks about retrograde, Capricorn full moon, the eclipse, and teachings notes about Libra and Scorpio. It's all this stuff like Scorpio moon, Taurus sun, like all of this crazy stuff. All of this crazy stuff. And it's just so crazy why I thought it was okay to do it because it talks about healing. And the whole point of me getting myself into, I'm just going to throw this whole thing in the trash. The whole point of me getting into witchcraft was like, oh, I can heal myself and heal other people just by making my own medications and all of this stuff. Heck yeah, I'm going to do it. Communicating with animals. I'm like, I could talk to animals. Heck yeah, I'm going to do it. I will never forget this one time I was super high. This is so beyond me. I will never forget this one time I was super high. Where was I going with that? It'll come back. This just blows. This is blasphemy, man. This stuff just blows my mind. Like, I don't want to say I'm disappointed in myself because I don't have any regrets in life. I really don't. I don't have any regrets in life, but my God, some of this is my daughter's work she just did in school. I'm not disappointed in myself, but it's sickening. Like playing with your own blood, eating your own blood. Is that not disgusting? Is that not disgusting? The alchemy of herbs, transformation, everyday ingredients into foods. I know this is okay. But yeah, y'all. But isn't alchemy like I don't know. This is just pretty much remember I was telling you guys I'm into healing. So I got all of these books to make medicine with food. See, it's just all these pretty like little plants that we just pass up every single day that can really help us. Like I just found out about myrtle that it helps with the skin with like eczema and just like all of these skin diseases. And that tree grows in July. It grows in summer and it helps us. So I made a lot of oils and I ended up like helping this girl get rid of like this little skin rash that she was experiencing, you know? And so it's really good to have this information. And I was going to school to be a psychiatric nurse because I used to work in a hospital and I worked as a nutritional assistant in a hospital. But I started getting depressed when I was working in the hospital. I was smoking so much weed while working on y'all. God bless my soul. God bless my soul. I don't even know what all of this stuff is. I don't even I don't even know what all of this stuff is. Like, oh wait, no, this is my school information. Oh, when I was a medical assistant, I felt so much in my life. I don't want to say I felt so much in my life, but I didn't finish a lot of stuff that I started because I thought I was a failure because that's all my dad used to say. He was like, if you're not doing this and this and this and making money like this and this and this and this, you're a failure. And I'm just like, why would you talk to your daughter like that? The daughter who believes in you? Why would you talk to your daughter like that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to your daughter? I'm going to have to go through this whole thing. I'm not going to sit here and tear stuff out of that. Y'all, I made a whole deck of my own cards because I wanted to ew, what is that? I wanted to publish my own cards. And I have to throw I wanted to make my own deck of cards. This is crazy. And I have to throw all of this away. I wanted to make my own deck of cards. I think this one's okay. See, even this one. Oh my God. Even this one. This is a really good read, but it talks about Egyptian gods. It talks about Egyptian gods. Spiritual surgery. It's I can't believe like, and they have like all these African dance practices and stuff. It's it blows my mind, man. It blows my mind. And even though this stuff is history, not all history is good history. This is a lot of Egyptian. I remember this lady. I've met her before. I used to follow her on Instagram. Like, y'all, and I said I had altars. Ugh, look, it teaches you a lot of ancestral work on why you should pray to your ancestors and all of that stuff. And it's just like, this is a whole entire altar. People was like, oh, well, the Ankh, you're in the woke life. You're still teaching me a form of slavery. You're teaching me in this mind frame that I need to sage. I need to sage my house. I'm disappointed. Oh, oh, wow. So this is my grandmother. My great grandma, she passed away. And this is my last name. That's my great grandmother. She looks Indian, but she's not. I lied. She has Indian in her, but she's not just Indian. I wish you guys would have seen her eyes. Her eyes was like this color, and like a little bit of like green. So would you consider that hazel? What would you consider that? Like a greenish hazel? What would you consider that color? Luckily, I found these pictures before I threw it away because I would have been really heartbroken. But yeah, so I was making an altar to her, and you know, in witchcraft, that's paying respect to the dead, right? And I don't know about the Day of the Dead. I can't speak for them because I don't really know. I don't want to even talk about that. But having an altar and putting food on the altar, you're paying respect to the dead, and it's like giving a prayer over to them. But in order for your prayer to get to the other side, you have to give an offering. It could be a food offering or like money or like it's a lot. And I would do that with her. And one of the things that I learned being in witchcraft, they would say if food drops on the floor, it's time to feed your ancestors. Let's not get into that. Oh yeah, I would sit this up on. This is another picture of her. It's the same thing. I just put it in this. But I would sit this up on the altar. This is so crazy. I would sit this up on there and I would like put food around it. I would light candles and I would just, God, I hope that you yada yada yada. I hope that she can hear me. Please just send her to hug me. Like all of that. All of that. All of that foolishness. All of that. Full moon in Pisces, portal of surrendering, control, and manipulation. Temperance, the sun and the moon, balance, feminine and masculine. Emotional stability is the job, healer, spiritual energy, energetic. I don't even transcending the old me. I messed up a lot of beautiful journals. And this says God's promise. I messed up a lot of beautiful journals because this is so pretty. I messed up a lot of beautiful journals. Just to do what? Just to do what, y'all? Like, just to do what? What is this? Oh. And I'm mad at myself, but then I'm happy that I'm still alive. You know what I'm saying? This is mahogany's. Mad at myself, but happy I'm still alive. Oh, this is for school. It just blows my mind. Like, how could I just be so naive? But I'm happy I did it because then I wouldn't have had a story. Oh yeah, my dad told me to buy this book about the Black Indians. My dad was like, "You're Cherokee Indian. You need to get history on your heritage." So if you just want to get history on your heritage, okay. I know there's a book somewhere. I think it's on the inside. Maybe we should go inside and do that. So this is the last box right here. I know there's another one upstairs. I know there's another one upstairs because I don't see it in here. And this is the last box. So let's put all of this stuff back inside. Let's put all this stuff back inside. I don't know why. It feels like I have to burp or something. I feel like something is happening on the inside of my stomach. And it's so crazy because when I was sick, I wasn't really sick. I just had a really bad cough. Feel free to ask more questions if you would like. But last week, I was just going through something. I don't know what I was really going through. Not last week, but the week before last. Whenever I did the last live that was starting this process, whenever I did the last live, what is my percentage? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Let's actually get a trash bag. Let's actually get a trash bag. I really am sorry if I'm making a lot of noise. I really don't want no bug coming to pop out at me. There was a really huge spider over there. I'm like, Elaine, you know? Well, thanks for sharing. Wish you the best on your journey. I subscribe. Have a beautiful and great day. Have a great day. Awesome. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day too. Thank you for keeping me some company. Thanks for giving me some company. It's actually time for me to go, but I need a snack first. My lips feel crusty and dry. I appreciate you for sharing your lovely day with me and helping me get my freedom. It was really cool to explain that story. So thank you for that. I really appreciate you. I really honestly don't even care what's in this. I just really want to throw it away. And it could be a lot of fruitful knowledge in here. But at the same time, we need copy paper. But at the same time, if I have to sit here and go through all of this stuff to see what I wrote and didn't write, I just want to throw it in the trash. I just want to throw it away. I don't have time for it. I don't want to make time for it either. Oh, snap. The art of self-mastery. So let me give you a slight little story on this too. And I just hope he doesn't come across this. I'm going to keep this book because I'm going to finish it. And I don't think it has anything to do with witchcraft. But this man right here, he used to be my 8th grade teacher. And then he became my principal in high school, right? And so I wanted him to be my mentor, right? Because I used to always talk to him about so much, my personal life, all of these things. In 8th grade, he accidentally touched my butt. And I don't think I ever told anyone this, but everybody had it out for him. Everybody was in love with him because he was the most handsome man in our school, right? And I would always go up to him. He was a step team coach. He was like the coach of like African American culture in 8th grade. And I would always talk to him and all of these things. I was so comfortable with him. Everyone had a crush on him. His wife ended up dying when I was still in middle school. Then I got over to high school and I started talking to him. And then when I graduated high school, I saw him again. He was on crutches. And then 2 years later, I saw him again. And he was working at the summit. I ended up going to the summit. So the summit out here in Texas, is alternative school. I ended up going to alternative school for Friday. Nevertheless, sorry for a different day. And I ended up talking to him. And I ended up scheduling a meeting with him. And I said, I want you to be my mentor. And he was like, well, sure, of course, Hags. Yeah, all game on. I'm your mentor. He said, order my book. I ordered his book, right? And so when I ended up meeting with him, I ended up bringing my best friend. He was so upset. And he was like, next time you're going to bring someone, you need to tell me. He said, the next time you're going to bring someone, you need to tell me. I'm like, okay, cool. So I started talking to him, right, while my best friend's right there. And I was like, you just remind me of my dad this, my dad this. You just remind me of my dad. And it just seemed so uncomfortable for him. And little did I know, I started reading this book by Nancy Friday called Woman on Top. I didn't get full-fledged into the book, but from the part that I was reading, it caused my body to have this sense of reaction towards my old teacher in a lustful manner. I was like, there's something there. And there's something there on the reason why he was getting agitated with me saying that he was like a father. He didn't want to be that. He didn't want to be that kind of mentor. I could just tell because he said, I remember going there and he said that he didn't have a religion. He didn't believe in that. And I started feeling all of this stuff when I would read this book. Of course, because he was an older man. He's an older man. He's way older than me. And I had this sense of attraction to him when I was in high school. And it's just like, I think that's a story for a different day, but I'm going to finish this book nevertheless. I just said that all to say, like, you have to know yourself so that you don't blame anyone else, that nobody else looks like a creep to you because you're still in this form of life changing and still trying to figure yourself out. You're even trying to still figure out what even is a God, what makes anyone qualified to be a God. I'm just going to throw this away. It's okay. All of this stuff. Now I'm reading this book, The Art of Self-Mastery, is because this is a book about intelligence. This has nothing to do with like witchcraft. This has nothing to do with like witchcraft and stuff. But yeah, guys, I know there's, that spider. I am so sorry for all of this noise. I am so sorry. I'm sorry, little spider, that I'm interrupting your peace. I'm sorry that I'm interrupting your peace. I'm so sorry. But I thank you guys for spending quality time with me as I was sharing my testimony. It's actually time for me to get ready and go. So I'm going to go get that book from upstairs. And I'm going to head out the door, grab myself a snack. Oh, a drone? Is this a drone? It is. That's cool. Anywho, right? I don't know where this was, but I'm just going to put it back. And I know when he come out here to work out, he going to fix it anyway. But yes, thank you guys for... This was a lot. This is crazy. Thank you guys for spending time with me and listening to my story. And I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you come back. I'm so happy I didn't finish this book. I really wanted to finish this book because this was like the secret of witchcraft. It was like everybody needed this book. Everybody needed to read The Secret. Everybody. And I thought I was the most richest person because I had got my hands on this book. But thank God. Thank God. I was like, oh, I'll be able to talk to scholars. I'll be able to talk to philanthropists. I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to do that. Oh, y'all. Thank God I didn't throw this away just yet. This is my baby. This is Mahogany. That's her when she was a little bitty baby. That's her when she was a little bitty baby. Excuse me. All right, y'all. Oops, excuse me. Maybe that's why. All right. Once again, thank you for attending Solomon's Garden at Sparkle University. May you have a beautiful and blessed and great, awesome, lovely day. And I hope to see you soon. If you see fit, please subscribe. If you see fit, please like this video. And if you see fit, please share. And I don't know when I'm going to be back on here, but stay tuned. And if you haven't, just watch my videos when I first started this channel all the way up until now, whenever you have free time, so that you can see the difference in growth. I felt ashamed and I wanted to delete the videos because I'm like, these people are going to think you're stupid, that you don't know what you're talking about. But no, because then we wouldn't be able to fully experience the greatness of God if I don't have anything really to prove to you. Okay? So some people say, how do you know God is real? Just look at my testimony. And that's all I got for you right now. Even though in class we're learning that It's just not about the testimony. But that's a story for a different day. I love y'all, and I hope to see y'all soon. Yeah. Bye. How you do this again? Bye.